Hey Gemini, this is your bi-weekly reading. So we are going from the full moon in Leo on January 25th to the new moon in Aquarius on February 9th. That is what we are taking a look at, is that period of time. This is a collective reading for Gemini sun or rising signs. So sun or rising, that's what this is for. So we are looking at that waning phase of the moon, right? So in working with the energy, we're taking a look at where we could maybe do some maintenance, where we could do some cleaning up, clearing out, that type of thing. Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. All right. So, Gemini. Now, if this is your first time joining me, welcome, hi. And also, these bi-weekly readings are meant to focus in on how we can best utilize the energy and work with the current so that we can benefit all areas of our life. So we're looking at what area is being pointed out to you to pull your attention into, to do some clearing, cleansing, letting go, releasing in certain ways to in order to benefit all other areas of your life, right? And so this is something to look at. Now, this is interesting. This is an interesting one. The hits that I'm getting on this are interesting. Now, I will say, of course, this is a collective. So if this is your sun sign and you're feeling like that's definitely not like my message, then cool, it's collective reading, right? They're not all going to resonate every single time for all Gemini sun signs, right? So go check out your rising sign. Obviously, you're going to get way more specific. Like that's the most specific is when you're doing one-to-one readings. But if you're looking at collective readings online, that's what I really recommend, is like really ask yourself, honestly, does this resonate with me? And is it something I should be looking at? And then if it really doesn't, okay, it's not your message this week, go take a look at maybe your, like I said, your rising sign, if this is your sun sign. And I'm really prefacing that in this particular video with you guys because of what I'm seeing here. So we're looking at the 12th house, right? Now, the 12th house is an interesting one. This is kind of like the most hidden, I would say, area of our lives, of our psyche, right? This has to do with our mental and emotional health. It also can have to do with our connection to a greater kind of sense of the universe or oneness in a certain way. Some might call that spirituality. There is very much a kind of secluded energy to this particular house, right? It's very hidden. It's definitely very hidden, but it's also where we can tend to maybe isolate. But it can also be a place where we are seeking solace, right? So it doesn't have to be negative. I just want to make sure that I mention that there's like both sides. It's both and, right? This is also a place where addictions can show up. So doesn't have to be substance based, but it can be, can also be food or shows, right? Like binge watching things or, chronically doing anything to avoid everything. Like that's what addictions can be a lot of, right? So in whatever way that is, I mean, people don't even look at it, but like healthy eating taken to an extreme can become an addiction, right? Yoga and meditation taken to an extreme where it's like, it becomes unhealthy or it's that can become an addiction. There are a lot of things that can become an addiction. So you want to look to where the qualities of addiction might be showing up in your life, if it applies, right? So, but definitely like the kind of things that are swept away into the darker, corners of our psyche, like where the cobwebs are, right? So that can bring forward a lot. We're talking about mental and emotional health. That definitely has, there's a lot that goes into that. So here's why I was saying what I was saying previous to starting in on your reading. So when we're looking at the seven of wands, I'm just realizing that's so not in the middle. Seven of swords. Yes, this is a card that is, probably most notable is for, lying or deceit or thievery or deception of some kind. And when we're looking at it in this context, as far as like, this is the card that's coming through as advice for you, as like, here's the message from whatever you want to call it, your guides, angels, spirit, universe, whatever. This message it shifts the message a little bit. And I would encourage you to ask yourself where you might be deceiving yourself. And in not being completely honest and looking at things plainly, maybe not wanting to necessarily face certain things, because this is not necessarily the easiest area or house to be inside of, right? It can provide incredible growth, and really, when we can get as comfortable as we can get with that, like that process of working with that energy, it can provide not just insights and growth, but peace can come as a result of that. You know, it doesn't mean that we'll never be challenged again, but it's a part of, you know, an area of life that I think a lot of us have a tendency to need to like force ourselves to turn towards instead of kind of turning away from, right? And so because of that, that's why I'm giving this message. That's really a strong message that I'm feeling coming through in this particular reading here is, you know, what needs to be looked at. Again, we're working with the waning phase of the moon. And so as it's declining, as it's waning, you know, we're looking at what can be released, what can we let go of. And so maybe doing some self-reflection and seeing, you know, what is there that needs to be looked at, that needs to be cleared out or dealt with. You know, like sometimes it's not letting go and releasing things as much as it is just facing and being with, and like turning on the light and shining a light into the dark corners with a flashlight, and being willing to look at and be with that, so that we can start to work with that, so that we can start to like kind of cleanse it out, right? It's kind of like spring cleaning in a way, right? So that's the message that I feel really coming through for you, Gemini rising. Like I said, you know, check out the other ones. And so I hope that this feels insightful. I feel like this is going to be a specific message for a couple people especially. So it just feels pretty strong like that. I can like feel it all the way through my body, and certain like from all the way through my middle, like all the way to my mouth. So yeah, I'm definitely feeling this one. So if this felt insightful, please give the video a like. It really does help me. Send this to another Gemini as well, Gemini rising or Gemini sun sign. Definitely want to try to spread the message, especially if it feels helpful for some people. And I'm trying to also build this channel. So if you've been following me for a while, a lot of the content I was talking about that's on the horizon looks like I was pretty much right about my approximation. That's probably going to start around like March, towards the end of March. So make sure you're subscribed if you haven't subscribed already, and pass this along to another Gemini, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.